I'm Dr. Jordin Wiggins, and this is the Pleasure Principles podcast. Join me on this journey where sex, science, and sensuality meet. Let's change the conversation around sex and pleasure together. Welcome back to our pleasure prescriptions. Today, I'm going to teach you my process for choosing pleasure over fear. This is a way that we can stop fear-based thinking and have more pleasure instead. Let me explain, but before I do, I just want to give you a quick note. So these steps, these tips that I'm giving you, they're some of my favorite. They're some of the women that I've worked with's favorite, but I want you to know two things. One, these tips are not in place of proper therapy or coaching or support that you need. And these tools and tips are pieces of a much bigger puzzle. So they're tips. If you implement them, they're going to work. You're going to start seeing immediate shifts in your relationships and how people respond to you. But they're not, they're a part. They're not the whole thing. So I just want to let you all know that it is important to have the amount of support that you need for your required outcome. So the superwomen that I work with, they are overthinkers. They are often very anxious-minded or busy-minded, sometimes a little depressed or functionally depressed when we are burnt out. And the anxiety, the overfunctioning is a very masculine way of being. So if we are stuck in doing, it actually is pushing people away instead of drawing them in. Let's go a little deeper on that. So when we are fearful, we like to control, and that looks like fixing, keeping ourselves busy, helping others, or disguising it as helping others, but really we're trying to get the outcome that we want. So it's kind of like helping disguised as manipulation. We are criticizing, we are judging, we are planning ahead. My man loves to call this the claw. So when we are in fear and when our response is to try and control and fix and do, we're actually in resistance. And we attract men that are resistant. We attract situations in our careers that are resistant, employees. We find ourselves in relationships where men are failing to provide what we crave. They're resistant to taking out the trash if we ask them to. They're resistant to holding our hands or knocking items off the to-do list. So by us being in that masculine, anxious, fear-based, controlling energy, we're pushing people away and we are resisting what's actually there. And in order to shift that, we need to get into non-resistance. And this is a feminine practice, which has a ton more steps. But I just want you to know, because I know you're the big picture thinkers and you want to understand it all on the high level before I give you the tangible action steps. And by being in non-resistance, by being like allowing, being in flow, that's when we can start to transform our relationships so we can feel supported, seen, desired. So what is one way that we can start getting into non-resistance? That is choosing pleasure over fear. And we do this by practicing a pleasure mindset. I do not find that meditation or traditional suggestions like just relax, let it go, it does not work for superwomen, for people with brains like mine. So to try and clear out our mind or empty our mind, do nothing, can sometimes magnify the uncomfortability. And then we layer on the shame that we suck at meditation, which is why I teach a feminine form of meditation. And then superwomen go, oh, I can do that. That works for me. That feels good. When we are in fear, used to being in control in the driver's seat, calling the shots, looking ahead for things that might go wrong, debris to avoid on the road, or slamming on the brakes. This works well in our careers. It works terribly, terribly in intimate relationships. We push people away. We feel more alone and more unsupported. When fear is our normal, when thinking, overfunctioning, trying to mitigate problems, feeling good can feel so foreign. Feeling pleasure can feel so foreign. When we have these fear-based thoughts, and we don't like to think they're fear-based thoughts, but they are, it can feel normal. Our nervous system starts to freak out when we feel good. And that looks like you're on vacation and you start to worry. You wonder why you're not so happy. You start to panic about work, pick a fight with your partner, or see all the lack and all the things that are wrong. We can't just be present, enjoy, and like fully enjoy and be present and in pleasure to the fullest. That also looks like in sex. When our bodies start to feel really good, we shut down, we check out, we focus on somebody else's pleasure because we don't know what it's like to focus on our own. So the actions that I want you to take is noticing a fear-based thought and replacing it with a pleasurable one. This is quick. It can be done in the moment. So step number 1, notice a fear-based thought. Anything that is not from love. So lack, feeling distant or like you want to run away, the need to control, manipulate, judge, accuse, blame, criticize, compare, hide, run, freeze, fix. And as I say that list, I'm sure if you stop and think about it, you're going to start noticing a lot of fear-based thinking that you didn't know was there. The next thing that I want you to do, step 2, is acknowledge it. So there is my critical voice again. Oh, there's my fear-based thinking again. And we want to be in neutral energy around it. No bullshit, no trying to like love your fear-based thinking, or because we're not there yet, but just neutral energy. We're just noticing. It's not good, it's not bad, it's just, oh, it's here. The next thing I want you to do is start focusing on something pleasurable. Look around the room for something that makes you feel good. A ray of sunlight, my cat, my daughter, my feet touching my partner on the couch. Maybe it's a painting or a piece of furniture that you really like. We are choosing, like we're noticing and acknowledging the fear-based thought, and we are choosing to replace it with a positive one. We're moving from fear to pleasure. We are training our brains to choose pleasure. And this, if we practice it and we can strengthen this muscle, train our brain to go from fear and control to love and surrender. And super women don't like the word surrender, but it leads us to better health, more intimacy, connection, way better sex. So start noticing that fear-based thinking, replacing it with pleasurable thoughts, and you will be so surprised with the results that start happening almost immediately. And definitely, if you make this a part of your practice, by a year from now, the end of 2024, your relationships will be significantly improved when people don't feel like you're trying to control, manipulate, law them. So try that out. Send me a DM on Instagram. Let me know how it's going.